Turning 30 typically means your best basketball is behind you, but not always. Enter Chet Walker, a professional scorer and the definition of a star small forward in the 60s and 70s. So join me today as I go through his whole career in The Basketball Experiment. Chet Walker was selected 14th overall by the Syracuse Nationals in the 1962 NBA Draft. As a rookie, he would already be an important player for the Nationals, playing 25 minutes a game and averaging 12 points and 7 rebounds. It was evident the Nationals had a steal at the 14th pick. In the playoffs, they would suffer a heartbreaking overtime Game 5 loss to the Royals. But Walker played good and was very productive. Okay, we are going to look at Chet Walker's first playoff series. He would be playing 26 minutes a game, so not quite starter minutes, but it's a lot of minutes still for a rookie in the playoffs. So see how much Syracuse trusted him already. And he's incredibly efficient, already shooting nearly 51%, putting up 15 points and 9.4 rebounds, and nearly a double-double at 26 minutes a game, almost 2 assists as well. Already an incredible standout performance in his rookie season. And the advanced numbers really show how much production he was providing. The PER at 21.6, and the win shares per 48 at .159. If you were Syracuse, you'd really have to be excited about your rookie looking like an all-star or even all-NBA level potential. In the off-season, the team would relocate to Philadelphia to become the 76ers. Walker would get his opportunity and play 36 minutes a game, playing 11 more than a year ago. His basic stats would increase, but his efficiency went down, as it seemed he would need more reps playing starter minutes before he could really shine. The team did not have a good year and only won 34 games, but it was still enough to qualify for the playoffs. Facing the Royals in another Game 5, Walker would put up 27 points and 10 rebounds, but they would lose another close game again. Walker struggled in the series, only shooting 39%. About halfway through the 1965 season, a giant would return to Philadelphia. The team would finish at 500, and Walker would have his minutes cut to 27 a game, and really struggle as his production fell and his shooting fell to 40%. In the playoffs, the Sixers would finally beat the Royals and advance to the Eastern Division Finals to face the Celtics, a team that had won 6 consecutive championships. One of the most famous series in league history, the Sixers lost in 7. In that game, Walker would put up 20 points and 6 rebounds and shoot 47%. And the entire playoff run would see him play at a high-value starter level. The 1966 season would see his minutes yo-yo again. This time, it increased to 32 a game. He would maintain his high-value starter level. In the playoffs, playing the Celtics in the division finals again, although it was not the close series of a year ago, and the Sixers were bounced in 5 games. Walker would really struggle, only averaging 14 points and shooting 37%. In the 1967 season, the Sixers won an NBA record 68 games, as Walker would have his best season so far. And we're going to look at the 1967 regular season for Chet Walker, and we're going to compare them to his last 3 regular seasons combined. So we see he's averaging 19.3 points a game. The last 3 years, he was averaging 15.2. So nice increase there. Also, the efficiency, a lot better this year. At this point in his career, it's a career high at 48%. Last 3 seasons, it was at 43%. The rebounds are pretty much the same, averages 8.1. Last 3 years, it was 8.3. The assists are up slightly, 2.3 assists to 1.9 the previous 3 seasons. So yeah, we definitely see he's having his best season at this time in his career. He's 26 years old, so logically he would be moving into more of his peak. We'll see what the advanced stats say. And we see that the PER is at a high at this point in his career at 17.9. Last 3 years, it was 14.9. And a major increase in the win shares per 48 at 0.181. Last 3 years is 0.107. Huge jump up there. His win shares, total win shares this year at 10.1. That was a career high up to this point. So he had already made the All-Star team twice prior, but in my opinion, this year is the first time where he's officially playing at an All-Star level. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the Philadelphia team that won the league record, 68 wins at this point in league history. We see Walker is a major contributor to that, as he has upped his game to his best performance and production so far. In the playoffs, the Sixers would finally defeat and dethrone the Celtics and advance to the finals. They would face the San Francisco Warriors. In the series, Walker would average 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists while shooting 45%, as they knocked off the Warriors in 6 games to win the championship. And we're going to look at the 1967 championship run for Chet Walker, and we're going to compare this postseason to the last 3 postseasons. See, nearly 22 points a game, shooting 46%, 80% from the foul line, averaging nearly 8 attempts a game. Last 3 playoffs, he was averaging 18.6 points, and shooting 43%, and 76% from the line, so all the scoring numbers have gone up. Rebounds just down slightly, averaging 7.6 the last 3 years, averaging 8. The assists virtually the same, 2.1 the last 3, 2.2. So we already see he's more efficient and he's scoring more, and we'll see how the advanced numbers stack out. See, his PER is 17.6. The last 3 playoffs is 14.4, and whoa, quite a jump up here. Win shares per 48. 0.201, last 3 years, 0.11. Wow. And his total win shares at 2.3 would end up being a career high in the playoffs for Walker. So we just see, once again, this is 67 the entire year. Regular season playoffs is his best season by far. And I'm sure it was a thrilling season, an exciting season for Walker as he's able to win the championship with the 76ers. And as far as his performance level in the playoffs, I would have to say it's just at the borderline of an all-NBA level performance. In a championship run, the second best player behind Wilt Chamberlain. An excellent postseason performance for Chet Walker. In the 1968 season, Walker's play dipped below an all-star level. And in the playoffs, his efficiency would decrease as the Sixers blew a 3-1 lead to the Celtics in the division finals and lost the repeat bid. During the 1969 season, Walker still played at his high-value starter level, and the Sixers were still a good team despite trading Wilt Chamberlain in the offseason. They would face the Celtics again in the playoffs, but were defeated, losing in 5 games in the semifinals. In the offseason, Walker would be traded to the Chicago Bulls, a young franchise that had never had a winning season. This would continue even as Walker regained his all-star level play. The 1971 season was a breakthrough for the Bulls. They won 51 games and pushed the Lakers to a Game 7 in the semifinals, but lost the series. And we're going to look at the first 2 regular seasons of Chet Walker on the Chicago Bulls, and we're going to think back and compare them to his best season in Philadelphia in 1967. So you see, he gets an increase in shot attempts in Chicago. So he's averaging nearly 22 points. 67, he was averaging 19.3. The efficiency down slightly, down to 47. 48, he shot 48 in Philly. Free throw way up, 76 in Philly. Now in Chicago, shooting 85%. Wow. The rebounds and the assists around the same. 7.5 assists, 2.3 in Chicago. In Philly, he was averaging 8.1 rebounds and identical 2.3 assists. We'll see what the advanced stats say. And we see the PR 18.9, that's up. The Philly year was at 17.9. Win shares per 48 is actually down slightly. It's 0.175 and Philly is 0.181. The total win shares in 67 with Philly, he had 10.1. Now with the 1971 season, he bested that by having 10.9. So the advanced stats tell us essentially he's still at the same level as he was that standout year in Philly, although it's 4 years later actually. He's made the All-Star team 5 times at this point, and I would agree he is at an All-Star level, not quite an All-NBA level. He has not made an All-NBA team in reality. And as he's getting older now, it would appear this is the highest level he's going to reach. Now at age 31, it would seem natural for Walker to start moving away from all-star level play. But the 1972 season would be his peak. And so Walker's peak would come at age 31, which I believe so far is the oldest peak we've seen. And before we get into the numbers, one difference from last year, he was playing 36 minutes a game. They cut to 33, which seems like it's not that many. But we'll just see how he's able to be more efficient at less minutes a game and keep up the same production as well, which is be key to when we get to the advanced stats. So we see he's averaging 22 points, which ties a career high. He averaged the same amount last year, but he's playing, as I just mentioned, three less minutes. Rebounds are down, just 1 from last year. Assists are the same, 2.3. It was 2.2 last year. The efficiency, however, he's shooting 50%, which would be a career high. Shooting 84% from the free throw line on 7.3 attempts, which also ties a career high, which is another key piece of Chet Walker's production. The amount of times he can get to the foul line, and he's making 84% of them. Very important. And the advanced stats tell us this was a spectacularly productive season for Walker. So the PER is at a career high of 21.8, and the win shares per 48 at a career high in a whopping .268. Total win shares career high, another big 14.5. What a really big number for total minutes he played this year was just under 2,600. 14.5 win shares. That is a large number for that amount of minutes played. We see the 25-25 club just approaching it. So close, still not quite there. But a spectacular season. To point out again, age 31 from Chet Walker. He did, just to cap this season as well, he did not even make the All-Star team, never mind the All-NBA. Another criminally overlooked performance in this era by the committees voting on these awards. They missed this one. The Bulls increased their win total to 57, but were swept by the Lakers in the semifinals. In the 1973 season, Walker would play at a borderline All-NBA level. Back in the playoffs again, but it would be a third straight defeat to the Lakers in the semifinals. Okay, now we're going to look at the last 6 playoffs for Chet Walker. And we're going to think back and compare them to the standout 1967 championship run with Philadelphia. We see the basic stats, the points at 16.7. He averaged 21.7 in the title run, so way down. The efficiency way down, 41%. 67 was 46. Free throws are also down, dropping from 80% to 74%. The rebounds and the assists are pretty much the same. 7.2, 2.1. He averaged 7.6 and 67. Since that standout 67 performance, things have not been going very well for Chet Walker in the playoffs, but we'll see what the advanced stats say. And they are pretty brutal. See, the PER is only at 14.8. In 67, it was 17.6. How about this? He played 15 games in the 67 run. He has played 40 at the years we're looking at, 68 through 73. Just in 1967 alone, he had 2.3 win shares. Since then, he has had 2.2 in total in 40 games. He hasn't even passed the total win shares he had in that one postseason. That's quite an indicator. And then the brutal indicator is the win shares per 48 at 0.078. In that 67 run, it was 0.201. So we're seeing a guy who has really struggled since that 67 run. And we've seen him in the regular season how he's been able to stay around an all-NBA level. And then in 72, even playing at an all-NBA level, he has not matched it in the playoffs, and it has been a brutal struggle for Chet Walker.
At age 33, Walker was still a star player in the 1974 season. And in the playoffs, he would up his game as the Bulls went into a Game 7 versus the Pistons in the semis. In that game, he would put up a game-high 26 points, added 7 rebounds, and shot 47%, including 8 of 9 from the foul line. The Bulls won by 2 points, and for the first time in franchise history, advanced to the Western Conference Finals. Unfortunately, they would run into a buzzsaw. The great Milwaukee Bucks, who also possessed the league's best player, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Bulls were swept, but Walker had his best postseason performance since the title run in 1967. In the 1975 season, Walker was still excellent, playing at an All-NBA level and receiving his only career MVP vote. In the playoffs, after defeating the Kings to return to the conference finals, the Bulls would be in a Game 7 versus the Warriors. Walker led his team with an efficient 21 points, but the Bulls' finals dreams were dashed again as the Warriors went on a run in the fourth quarter and won the game and the series.
And we're going to look at the last 2 playoffs now for Chet Walker to see how he's turned it around. And we're going to compare them 68 through 73, where he really struggled, as we talked about earlier. Already we see the points have increased from 16.7 to 19.1, and the shooting, the efficiency, off the charts increase. The last 6 years, he was at 41%. He's been at 50 the last 2. He shot 74% from the free throw line. Now he's at 87, whopping 87. The rebounds and assists have actually gone down. The rebounds going down to 5 after averaging 7. But the efficiency in the scoring really rocketing up to an increase. We'll see what the advanced stats say. And we see just as much as he was struggling through 68 through 73, now he is excelling in 74 and 75. Finally, Walker being able to regain his brilliant form as he did in the 67 championship run. He has found it again at age 33 and 34 for the Chicago Bulls. We see the PER leaping up from 14.8 to now 19.4. The win shares per 48, which was at a really low 0.078, now at a nice 0.197. The 68 through 73, we don't have access to BPM or VORP, but we see for 74, 75, his BPM is at a 3.5. And both these postseasons, 74 and 75, he got a VORP of 0.6. And 75 postseason, he had a total win shares of 1.8, which was the second highest of his playoff career.
But we see these last 2 years with Chicago in the conference finals, he is playing at an All-NBA level in the playoffs. He has done it. Took him a while to get there, but he did do it. Chet Walker was part of the players' fight to allow free agency in the NBA. After a salary dispute with the Bulls, Walker was informed from the league that if he chose to continue playing, he would be considered Chicago Bulls property. Rightfully offended, he chose to never play in the NBA again. And the last thing we're going to look at is the prime of Chet Walker, which lasts 9 seasons, 67 through his final season. That is rare, but he's still in his prime, his final year in 1975. As we see the basic statistics, just under 20 points, close to 7 rebounds, 2.2 assists. He's shooting 48% and 82% from the foul line. So very efficient, not a high volume scorer, but still a scorer, incredibly efficient. And the advanced numbers with the PER of 18.7 and the win shares per 48 of 0.191. The average win shares during his prime at 10.5. So I'd say the numbers are saying he is just at the door of an All-NBA level talent during his prime. It's really, he could go either way. He's so close. And I have to say, in reality, he never made an All-NBA team. They only had 2 All-NBA teams back in this time, but he obviously still should have made it, should have made it. The evidence is in. He was overlooked during his time. Now we'll look at the playoff basic statistics during his prime and compare them to the regular season. The points dropped down 1.5 to 18.4. The rebounds and assists are virtually the same. The shooting efficiency does drop from 48 down to 44, and free throws at 82 down to 79. So just there is a drop in the scoring, not that dramatic, but we will confirm it with the advanced stats. And we do see there is a bit more of a drop showing up in the advanced stats. The PER drops nearly 2 points to 16.8. The win shares per 48 does definitely drop a bit, substantially, from 0.191 to 0.139. So in the playoffs, the advanced numbers are telling us Walker is hovering around an all-star level, perhaps not even quite there for the majority of his prime, although he was able to reach an all-star level and above in that 67 championship run and the last 2 conference final runs for the Bulls. So there definitely is a disappointment in the playoffs as Walker doesn't reach the level he did in the regular season. But the parts that get him here, the standout 1972 regular season, as well as staying at a consistent level into his mid-30s, still being an All-NBA level, in my opinion. And as was just mentioned, those 3 standout postseason runs, the 67 championship and the back-to-back conference finals with Chicago, including his last 2 years in the league, to me are reason enough why he deserves to be on this list. If you agree or disagree, let me know down in the comments. And thank you for watching.